Good evening, folks. DutyRon returning back for live. This is breaking news just several hours ago here in New York. Around 2:30 in the afternoon, a mass shooting occurred up in Buffalo in Erie County, New York, my home state. 10 people killed, 3 injured, more probably as this story updates. Horrific, horrible, despicable. What's being billed as a hate crime. I'm going to just bring you what I know so far here and now. Um, Again, there was several press conferences. The New York State governor is being dispatched to the scene at the top supermarket. It's not anything that I ever want to bring to you guys, but I feel like it was necessary to come live onto the air with this. So I want to show you a bit of the. This is the mayor of Buffalo, New York, a retired Buffalo police officer who was doing security, armed security at that location, was shot and killed by this 18-year-old who was in tactical gear. And we don't have any information on the perpetrator, but he is a male, as we know it, as the news is reporting, a male, 18 years old, in tactical gear. He shot and killed 10 people inside a supermarket. And I'll give you the makeup and why they're going saying that this is racially motivated, because he was white, and I think 10 out of the 13 victims were black. So this is horrible, horrific. But I'm going to just play the news conference for you.
Buffalo has turned into a terrible day and one of tremendous heartbreak for every member of our community. We have suffered a mass shooting with multiple casualties and several people injured. This is the worst nightmare that any community can face, and we are hurting and we are seething. Community, the depth of pain that families are feeling and that all of us are feeling right now cannot even be explained. Some of us had the opportunity to provide comfort to some of the families, but needless to say, there is no comfort at this time. We are pleased that a shooter is in custody. The person responsible for the tragic events of today is in custody.
At approximately 2:30 today, an individual who the mayor stated is not from this area and is from hours away drove to the Buffalo, went to 1275 Jefferson Avenue to the Tops Market. He exited his vehicle. He was very heavily armed. He had tactical gear. He had a tactical helmet on. He had a camera that he was live streaming what he was doing. The individual exited his car and engaged 4 individuals. He shot 4 people in the parking lot. 3 of those were deceased. 1 individual at this time is surviving the injury. The individual went inside. As I said, he's an 18-year-old white male, walked into the store and began engaging customers inside the store. One of the individuals inside the store is the security guard, a beloved security guard, who is a retired Buffalo police officer, a hero in our eyes, engaged the suspect, fired multiple shots, struck the suspect, but because he had heavily armored plating on, that bullet had no round. The suspect engaged our retired officer, and he was ultimately shot and deceased at the scene. He continued to work his way through the store. Ultimately, he worked his way back towards the front of the store. Buffalo police immediately respond, engage the suspect in the vestibule of the store. And at that point, the suspect put the gun to his own neck. Buffalo police personnel, 2 patrol officers, talked the suspect into dropping the gun. He dropped the gun, took off some of his tactical gear, surrendered at that point, and he was led outside, put in a police car and transported to Buffalo Police Headquarters. So as we said, a total of 13 people were shot today. 10 deceased at the scene, and 3 sustained non-life-threatening injuries. It appears to be non-life-threatening injuries at that point. 4 in total were store employees. One of those was the security guard who has worked at that location for a very long time. Many officers on scene here knew him quite well. And the rest of the victims are customers of the store.
This was pure evil. It was straight up racially motivated hate crime from somebody outside of our community, outside of the city of good neighbors, as the mayor said, coming into our community and trying to inflict that evil upon us.
So there you have it. Terrible.
Simone, yes, we're still watching.
Terrible situation outside of. Let's hear what they have to say here.
And as we get more information from the scene, we can update you right now. We can confirm 7 people are dead in this incident. 1 other person.
All right. So this is earlier. You could see it's still light out. So it's later on in the day. There was a total of 10 dead, 13 total shot. So I'm going to go to, I'm going to come back with you guys here. I have a couple of other things that I saved for you guys to watch. Again, these mass shootings are never easy to talk about. They're never easy to report on. But at the end of the day, these are things that unfortunately are happening in our society. And again, just horrible, horrific. There's a ton of news outlets that are live with this right now. This guy was wearing armored suit, like shock plate metal. So the rounds that were fired at him by this off-duty, retired police officer, they didn't do anything. They didn't even affect him. So he was engaged in a firefight with a local retired Buffalo police officer, and it didn't do anything. So this is horrific. I'm going to go to CNN, which is got some updated stuff. I want to just give you what they're talking about right now. So this is just another report on one of the local news outlets here. So I'm going to play this quickly.
We begin with breaking news from Western New York. Just moments ago, Buffalo police confirmed an 18-year-old man opened fire at a supermarket, killing 10 people and wounding 3 others. Police officials say they have the suspect in custody. CNN's Athena Jones was monitoring the news conference. Athena, one official not mincing words, calling this a straight-up racially motivated hate crime.
Hi, Pamela. That's right. There's still a lot we have to learn about this incident that began to unfold just a couple of hours ago that left 10 people dead at this Tops supermarket in Buffalo. During that press conference, we heard from several members of law enforcement, as well as the mayor of Buffalo, Mayor Byron Brown. Take a listen to what he had to say.
The shooter was not from this community. In fact, the shooter traveled hours from outside this community to perpetrate this crime on the people of Buffalo. A day when people were enjoying the sunshine, enjoying family, enjoying friends, all manner of happy activities. People in a supermarket shopping and bullets raining down on them. People's lives being snuffed out in an instant for no reason.
Now, as we learned in the press conference, this shooter is now in custody. He is an 18-year-old white male who officials say drove into Buffalo from outside the community. As you heard there from the mayor, drove in several hours, not from the city of Buffalo. They believe that this is a racially motivated. It's being investigated as a hate crime and as racially motivated violent extremism. So this is something that is certainly concerning to this community. Anyone can relate to going to a supermarket on a Saturday, handling your weekly errands, and to have this sort of thing happen is just a tragedy. And it really isn't the first time. We know, of course, about the shooting at that Walmart in El Paso back in 2019 that was also racially motivated. So there is a lot to learn here, but we do know this suspect, he was heavily armed, wearing tactical gear, and he had a camera where he was live streaming this shooting as it was unfolding. Now, officials there wouldn't answer the question of whether he was speaking during this live stream, so those sorts of details will still, we'll have to wait for those. This person arrived on the site, and he shot 4 people just right there in the parking lot. According to Buffalo Police Commissioner Joseph Gramaglia, 3 of those 4 individuals died. The other one survived. And all told, 10 people shot and killed inside this supermarket, several others injured. When we understand this suspect is being arraigned really any minute now. One of those law enforcement officials said he hoped to see the suspect arraigned in the next hour. We also heard from the U.S. attorney saying that they are going to do everything they can to make sure that this sort of thing doesn't happen again. We also heard a law enforcement official saying that this suspect is expected to be charged with first-degree murder. There's a subdivision of that where there are multiple victims, but still a lot to learn about this shooting, the motivation, the weapons, and all of that. We do understand, according to my colleague, Shimon Percupez, federal law enforcement officials saying that they are reviewing a purported manifesto posted online in connection with this Buffalo mass shooting. But of course, this is the kind of tragic news that no one wants to hear on a Saturday. Everyone can relate to this sort of thing, a mass shooting happening just at an ordinary place, people just going to get their groceries. And we'll learn more as we get it.
Again, horrific, horrifying. Anytime you hear about it, this happens all across the United States, but it never gets easy to process. Supposedly he had a manifesto. He live streamed it. I wouldn't want to even see that live stream. I know there's some people who would want to see it. Me personally, I wouldn't want to see it. 10 people killed, 3 injured during a mass shooting at a Buffalo, New York grocery store. Saturday afternoon around 2:30 p.m. New York time, Eastern Standard Time. City Police Commissioner said the shooting is being investigated as a hate crime. The FBI is on the scene. ATF. Suspects in custody and will be arraigned on charges of first-degree murder Saturday evening, probably as we speak. Buffalo supermarket shooting live streamed on Twitch. That's the platform that he was on. I'm sure Twitch took that off. That's just coming in here over the wire. Twitch, the most popular live streaming platform, best known for gaming, confirmed on Saturday that the Buffalo supermarket shooting suspect used its platform with a GoPro to live stream broadcast during his attack in the top supermarket. We are devastated. This is the message from Twitch. We are devastated to hear about the shooting that took place this afternoon in Buffalo. The company says our hearts go out to the community impacted by this tragedy. Twitch has a zero tolerance policy against violence of any kind and works swiftly to respond to all incidents. They've removed this live stream. Obviously, I'm sure someone screenshotted it and downloaded it. Twitch said that the user has been indefinitely suspended, obviously, from our service, and we are taking all appropriate action, including monitoring for any accounts rebroadcasting this content. So if anybody rebroadcasts this content, it will be immediately removed, and rightfully so. Officials during a news conference early Saturday did not say where the live stream was, but we now find out that it was only on the social media platform Twitch. Erie County District Attorney John Finn says, kudos to Twitch for removing this horrific, heinous live stream. Homeland Security briefed the president on the shooting. President is aware of what went on upstate Buffalo, New York. That's Erie County. I've been up there to take prisoners back on many occasions. Erie County District Attorney said the suspect in the Buffalo mass shooting will be arraigned on first-degree murder charges this evening. Speaking at a press conference with other officials, Flynn, the district attorney, says, I've already called the judge, Judge Craig Hanna, to come to downtown immediately and arraign this individual. So within the next hour, that was 49 minutes ago, the individual will be arraigned on charges of murder in the first degree. Officials have not named the suspect in the mass shooting thus far. 22 minutes ago, the FBI says the Buffalo shooting is being investigated as a hate crime. So there you have it. Buffalo, Steve Bologna, the special agent in charge of the FBI Buffalo field office, says that the FBI is assisting in this investigation as well during a press conference. Erie County Sheriff John Garcia called the shooting pure evil, and rightfully so. It's a straight up racially motivated hate crime from somebody outside our community, outside the city of good neighbors, as the mayor said, coming into our community and trying to inflict evil upon us. So that's what we have so far coming out of Buffalo. And I know there's a lot more information, a lot more news that should follow. You guys can watch it all on the internet. I'm just going to play this. This is kind of an older clip.
Here's Jose Diaz-Balart.
Play this.
Good afternoon. We're coming on the air with breaking news out of Buffalo, New York, where at least 7 people have been shot and killed in a mass shooting at a Tops grocery store. Another person is reportedly in critical condition. Here is what else we know as of right now. Police and emergency responders are on the scene. Buffalo PD says the shooter is in custody. New York Governor Kathy Hochul said she is monitoring the situation and is asking people to avoid the area. Early disturbing video from the scene shows what appears to be someone apprehended by police while possible victim lays nearby. We'll have much more tonight on NBC Nightly News. I'm Jose Diaz-Balart. This has been an NBC News special report.
So there you have it. I'm going to see what we have here. No, that's not it. We don't want to see that.
Anywhere in the city when crowds gather and unlawful activity occurs.
Hold on, folks.
This is an NBC News special report. Here's Jose Diaz.
I'm going to look on Twitter and see what I can come up with on Twitter for you guys. Anybody have any of the updates, any extra updates? I mean, this was 2 hours ago from Fox Now. I'm going to look at this quickly. This is about a 2-minute.
And thank you for being with us and welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Stephanie Weaver reporting out of Los Angeles. It is 1:20 Pacific time here on the West Coast in Los Angeles, but we are bringing you breaking news right now. Police say multiple people have been struck by gunfire in Buffalo, New York. Multiple people shot at a Buffalo supermarket, and the alleged shooter is in custody. Several people have reportedly been injured after being struck by gunfire during a mass shooting in Buffalo, New York this afternoon. The Erie County executive tweeted that he had been advised of an active multiple shooter event at a Tops Market grocery store located on Jefferson Street. The Buffalo Police Department also tweeted that the shooter was in custody and was advising motorists and residents to avoid the area. So far, no other information has been released by authorities, but if we have a press conference, we will bring that to you here on Live Now from Fox. The governor of New York tweeting that she was closely monitoring the situation as well at a grocery store in Buffalo, her hometown. She said state officials have offered to help local authorities. Also, the Buffalo Police Department has tweeted out as well, saying that there was a mass shooting at a Tops grocery store in the 1200 block of Jefferson Avenue, which you are seeing right there in that footage. Police say multiple people have been struck by gunfire. The shooter is in custody, and motorists and residents are urged to avoid the area. This is a developing story, but as soon as we have more information for you, we will hop on and bring that to you here on Live Now from Fox.
Taking you now to Buffalo, New York, where police officials are discussing a mass shooting that happened in a supermarket. CBS News has confirmed at least 10 people are dead, more are injured. Let's listen.
All right, here's the press conference from just a little while ago. This is the mayor.
What started out as a beautiful day in the city of Buffalo has turned into a terrible day and one of tremendous heartbreak for every member of our community. We have suffered a mass shooting with multiple casualties and several people injured. This is the worst nightmare that any community can face, and we are hurting and we are seething right now as a community. The depth of pain that families are feeling and that all of us are feeling right now cannot even be explained. Some of us had the opportunity to provide comfort to some of the families, but needless to say, there is no comfort at this time. We are pleased that a shooter is in custody. The person responsible for the tragic events of today is in custody. You will get more details in a moment. I want to thank all of the law enforcement agencies at the federal, state, county, and city level, all of the agencies that have responded. Buffalo is known as the city of good neighbors nationally and internationally. This is a community where people love each other. The shooter was not from this community. In fact, the shooter traveled hours from outside this community to perpetrate this crime on the people of Buffalo. A day when people were enjoying the sunshine, enjoying family, enjoying friends, all manner of happy activities. People in a supermarket shopping and bullets raining down on them. People's lives being snuffed out in an instant for no reason. I have to say that this particular top supermarket is near and dear to my heart. It's one that I worked years ago to help bring to this community. It's one that I patronize from time to time. My family patronizes from time to time. And some of the victims of this shooter's attack are people that all of us standing up here know. So this is a day of great pain for our community. I want to just recognize some of those that are with us today before I turn things over to our police commissioner, Joseph Gramaglia, to give you more detail. I want to recognize County Executive Mark Polenkars, Erie County Executive, Congressman Brian Higgins, Council President, Buffalo City Council President Darius Pridgeon, Erie County Legislature Chairwoman April Baskin, Erie County Legislator Howard Johnson. I want to recognize Governor Kathy Hochul and thank her for her calls. Governor's staff is with us now, and the governor is flying back into town and will be here sometime after 7 o'clock. I want to recognize Attorney General Letitia James, who has also called, and we have also received calls from the White House. Again, this is a day of great sadness for all of us in the city of Buffalo. To provide you with more detail, I want to turn things over to Buffalo Police Commissioner Joseph Gramaglia.
Thank you, Mayor. At approximately 2:30 today, an individual who the mayor stated is not from this area and is from hours away drove to Buffalo, went to 1275 Jefferson Avenue to the Tops Market. He exited his vehicle. He was very heavily armed. He had tactical gear. He had a tactical helmet on. He had a camera that he was live streaming what he was doing. The individual exited his car and engaged 4 individuals. He shot 4 people in the parking lot. 3 of those were deceased. 1 individual at this time is surviving the injury. The individual went inside. As I said, he's an 18-year-old white male, walked into the store and began engaging customers inside the store. One of the individuals inside the store is a security guard, a beloved security guard, who is a retired Buffalo police officer, a hero in our eyes, engaged the suspect, fired multiple shots, struck the suspect, but because he had heavily armored plating on, that bullet had no round. The suspect engaged our retired officer, and he was ultimately shot and deceased at the scene. He continued to work his way through the store. Ultimately, He worked his way back towards the front of the store. Buffalo police immediately respond, engage the suspect in the vestibule of the store. And at that point, the suspect put the gun to his own neck. Buffalo police personnel, 2 patrol officers, talked the suspect into dropping the gun. He dropped the gun, took off some of his tactical gear, surrendered at that point, and he was led outside, put in a police car and transported to Buffalo Police Headquarters. So as we said, a total of 13 people were shot today, 10 deceased at the scene, and 3 sustained non-life-threatening injuries. It appears to be non-life-threatening injuries at that point. 4 in total were store employees. One of those was the security guard who has worked at that location for a very long time. Many officers are on scene here, knew him quite well. And the rest of the victims are customers of the store. As the mayor said, this tragic incident by someone who is not a part of our community, does not live here. We'll let some of the other agencies get into the information that has been posted online. And I will turn this over at this point first to our Erie County Sheriff, John Garcia. I would like to thank all of the agencies. We have a very, very close working relationship with every level of government, every level of law enforcement, and everybody was immediately calling and responding. We had a command post set up, and everybody is asking what we can do and how can we pitch in. The individuals from several hours away, the New York State Police and the FBI are investigating that part of the crime as well. So I will turn this over at this point to Erie County Sheriff John Garcia. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gramaglia. As your sheriff and on behalf of the men and women of the Erie County Sheriff's Office, our condolences to the victims and their families. From a law enforcement standpoint, the Erie County Sheriff's Office responded, boots on the ground, deputies, investigators, our helicopter in the air, our SWAT team on standby. And as Commissioner Gramaglia said, we are working together every single day to keep the community safe. This was pure evil. It was straight up racially motivated hate crime from somebody outside of our community, outside of the city of good neighbors, as the mayor said, coming into our community and trying to inflict that evil upon us. I urge everyone to stay calm, and we are there to protect the citizens of Erie County and Buffalo, and we'll be out there along with the City of Buffalo Police Department patrolling. And again, my condolences to the family, and this person was pure evil. So, thank you.
I'm Stephen Belongia. I'm the special agent in charge of the FBI's Buffalo field office. We stand here today confronted with feelings of anger, shock, confusion, fear, and compassion. We feel motivated to help and relieve the anguish of those who were killed and injured today and their families and friends. These victims did not deserve this. They were doing what we do every day, going to the grocery store or simply doing our jobs. The FBI is working this case jointly with our partners, with the Buffalo PD and our other federal, state, and local partners. We are investigating this incident as both a hate crime and a case of racially motivated violent extremism. Hate crimes fall within the FBI's Criminal Investigative Division, and racially motivated violent extremism cases fall within the FBI's Counterterrorism Division within our Domestic Terrorism section. The FBI is providing all necessary resources, both locally and nationally, to investigate this matter. We will not stop until every lead is investigated, every piece of evidence is analyzed, and until we understand how and why this horrible tragedy and crime occurred. Our thoughts and our prayers are with the family and the victims who died today.
I'm Trini Ross. I'm the United States Attorney for the Western District of New York. I want to start by saying my thoughts and heartfelt prayers go to the family, the victims, and the community that had to suffer this great and unnecessary tragedy today. We're working with our state, federal, and local law enforcement partners, as you've already heard from, to ensure that justice is brought to this community, to those victims, to their families. The United States Attorney's Office will be investigating this case along with our law enforcement partners as a hate crime and domestic violent extremism. I'm in touch with the highest levels of the Department of Justice. Resources will be put behind this investigation. Whatever we need, we will not stop until justice is brought to this community, those families, and the victims of this horrific crime. I can assure you, as the United States Attorney, I will bring whatever resources we need to this community to make sure that justice is done. This should never happen to anyone in any community. It surely shouldn't happen on a beautiful Saturday when people are just shopping and going through normal life events. We will ensure that the perpetrator of this victim is given justice, and justice will be done for this community.
I'm going last. No, I'm going. I'm not going. I'm not going. All right. Let me first start out by saying thank you. Thank you to all my partners in law enforcement here, from the federal, state, local level. The amount of work that's been done so far has been extraordinary. The amount of information that's been gathered so far has been outstanding. And for everyone involved here, from Trini to BPD to the state police to the sheriff, I cannot thank enough. We here in Erie County, though, are not waiting. I have already called a judge, Judge Hanna, to come downtown immediately and arraign this individual. So within the next hour, this individual will be arraigned on a charge of murder in the first degree. I am not even going to mention his name right now, one, because the arraignment hasn't occurred, but more importantly, I don't want to give him any celebrityism at all right now. I don't want to give him anything right now that puts attention on him and the alleged, and again, I say alleged, despicable acts that were committed today in our great city. So I'm not going to give you his name right now. I'll give it to you after I issue a press release after he's been arraigned. But Judge Hanna is downtown right now. BPD and my office are drafting the charges right now, and he will be arraigned tonight. And that charge of murder in the first degree carries with it a life without parole sentence. Now, there are two aspects of the murder in the first degree charge that potentially could be charged here. The one obviously is crystal clear right now. There is a certain subdivision of the murder in the first degree that accounts for multiple individuals getting shot and killed, which is what we have here. As the commissioner said, we have 10 individuals who have unfortunately lost their life, 3 that have been shot but are going to survive, hopefully. There is also a second subsection of the murder in the first degree that has a racial component to it. Obviously, we will investigate that further. I want to make sure right now, though, when I arraign him tonight, my clock is ticking as far as my felony hearing date, which will be 5 days from now. So I want to make sure that I have the best charge right now to hold him in custody and to get this matter moving forward before I add any other charges on. But I can, and if those charges are applicable, which I think they may be, they will be added on. They're not going to increase the punishment at all from a state standpoint. From a state standpoint, it is life without parole, and that's as high as we can go. So I also want to thank my district attorneys across the country who have been texting me and calling me for the past 2 hours. I thank you for your thoughts. I thank you for your prayers. But more importantly, I want everyone to know that my thoughts and prayers are with the family members who have lost loved ones today in the city of Buffalo.
We'll next hear from County Executive Mark Poloncarz and then Congressman Brian Higgins.
And then I'll take any questions at the end.
As has been said by all the others, today is one of the saddest days in the city of Buffalo and Erie County's history. All of the county's resources have been made available as necessary to assist in this unfortunate, horrific act. As the mayor noted, we are the city of good neighbors, and we, of course, are not defined by this act, but how we will come together to support the families of those who have lost. And on behalf of the people of Erie County, I want to offer my deepest condolences to those who've lost a loved one today. Erie County mental health counselors, as well as our partners from the mental health community, are already on site to assist those who may have lost a loved one or those who were a witness to this horrific crime. And as we know, we will offer all resources possible from all parts of county government, whether of course it's the sheriff's office, the district attorney's offices, or the other departments, that to ensure that not only do this individual be prosecuted for this horrible crime and brought to the full extent of justice, but that we also can heal as a community from this traumatic experience.
Well, thank you very much. And let me just say to all of my colleagues in government, our law enforcement community, the eyes of the nation are on Buffalo. And those eyes are full of tears and are full of sympathy for the violence and the tragedy that's been exacted on good, innocent people who went to work this morning, said goodbye to their loved ones, expecting fully to return home tonight. 10 people are not going to return home. Their loss, their death, is a loss and a death that's exacted on this community. Our sympathy goes to the families. Our thoughts go to the families and to the victims. And I couldn't be more proud of my mayor, my county executive, my district attorney, the U.S. attorney, and all of the elected officials that are here today in the law enforcement community who have coordinated this effort in a highly effective way. So this is something that hopefully we will learn from, something that will serve as a basis from which enacting policy at the federal level to get guns out of the hands of those people who should not have guns in their hands. And we hope that time will heal. And we are a good community. We are a giving community. We love our people. We love our diversity. And again, these people were people that for the past 24 months were working in service of others, and people who we called our heroes. And our heroes have been taken down today without justification.
So as we conclude, before we open up for questions, again, I want to express that our deepest and most heartfelt condolences are with the families of those who lost their lives today tragically and unnecessarily. If you would bear with us, we will open up for questions, and then we will conclude in prayer with Father Seil, the fire department chaplain, and our council president, Darius Bridget.
So that was it. They did end that in prayer, which was truly amazing. I love that, as a city, Buffalo came together in a tragic moment. It is horrible, and it goes to show you how divided we are as a nation. You look at some of the, the comments underneath some of those videos and the comments in live chats. Not so bad here, but if you just take a step back and look at what's being said, it's just sad into itself, because you're looking at different people's feelings, and we're not having a conversation about how to do better and how to change this, how to try to combat and defeat this. I mean, I know it's something that we can never completely stop, but there needs to be a conversation about how to stop, how to eliminate this from happening. And every time there's a mass shooting, I go live, I go on the air and I talk about politicians talking a good game. They talk a good game, but they don't really do anything about it. They just say prayers and they say, oh, this is terrible and we're going to charge to the fullest extent of the law, but they don't come up with a plan to try to combat it, to try to change the way things are in the general public. And I know you can't have armed military people at every store that we're at, but there's got to be something else that they can do to look at it. So I leave you with that today. And I want to just say, again, thank you to everybody who's tuned in. A mass shooting up in Buffalo, New York, 10 people shot, killed, 3 others injured, and I'm sure more injured along the way. We should just all take a moment to pray for the victims and pray for their families. And that's all that we can do as civilians right now. But again, it is what it is. And I thank everybody for joining. This is not a live stream that I like to do. I don't find any pleasure out of this. And the conversation from our political folks, the political side of the aisles, have to come together and come up with some type of plan to try to do better, because they're not doing anything about it. It just happens time and time and time again, and nothing gets done. So, all right, guys, good night from New York City, and thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one tomorrow. Don't forget, Brian Enton, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'll see you then. Peace.